forgot to put up a fancy intro screen. Oh well. It's okay. So, my workshop smells terrible right now. Like so terrible. This is... We've hit major gross. This is great because this is a level of gross where I have the warning up for everybody who needs to know that, but you guys can't possibly experience the level of gross I'm going through right now because it's so stinky. Oh my gosh, Mom, it's so stinky. I have a window cracked. I have every exhaust fan in my house running. Woo! We have hit mega stinky. It's absolutely epic. This is one of those great times where I've learned a lot by working on this sheephead, and it's been really fun, and I'm glad to do it. Hey, Library Rat. And some of the things I've learned is that I probably won't do it again in my house. The smell is incredible. It's so eye-wateringly bad in here right now. I have to pull it together and work on this, and I kind of just can't stop giggling because of how gross it is. This is so bad. Okay, so let me move this to the side. I'm gonna put the bin here so you'll be able to see it through the bin. So for anybody who's seen my Thursday stream, you're familiar with this format. This way. Alright, so here's our friend. Let me turn it around so you can... There we go. There's our good buddy. This smells so bad. It's so gross, you guys. And so, I don't know... Yeah, you can see there's, no pink left on it at all. I can even hold it up. It's all white. Ooh, there's some dangly bits. Oh my god, the smell is absolutely incredible. And for anybody who hasn't seen what I just posted on Facebook and Instagram, do I have any masks? Funny you should ask, haha. I basically would have to line the inside of my mask with essential oils and then just, huff that. Oh my god. So I was rinsing this out. So I took it out of the stuff it's been sitting in, dumped it in my kitchen sink, yes I did, and rinsed it and kind of gave it a quick once over, to get all the loose schmoo off. And as I'm shaking it, it's rattling. It's going thwomp, 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 like it's making this horrible noise inside the skull. So I keep doing that. And so if you check out my Instagram, I got a big chunk of brains out. And they're still sort of pinkish. So these must have been just rammed into some corner. Pun not intended. Haha, it's a sheep. And so the hydrogen peroxide hadn't acted upon it. It basically had been just sitting there putrefying. So there's rotten brains that I managed to shake out of this. And I can still see some in there, but man, there's a lot that I got out. So, this is great. It really is in much better shape than it was. Oh, it's so leaky. It's much, much cleaner than it was. It is so not done. So, what I'm going to do for as long as I can handle it... Oh, it's so gross. Every time I move it, some new, fart comes out of it. It's so gross. I'm going to scrub at this guy and try to get more of the loose stuff off. And then it's got to go back. I got to soak it for longer in the hydrogen peroxide. I can't even... It smells so bad. Okay, let me see if I can describe the smell. Okay, so open ditch water. So the ditch water is a little different than sewage. Ditch water has a very specific smell, so there's definitely a ditch water smell combined with actual human flatulence smell. Oh my god, how do I even describe this? This is the worst. It's shockingly bad. And I've smelled some bad stuff. I've put things into soak before and whatever, but it's just so big. That's a beautiful lower jaw, and this is already more bone than I really am used to dealing with. It looks great though. It's doing the thing, but oh my god. I've been trying to change the water every couple of days, or the hydrogen peroxide. So last Saturday I put it in the hydrogen peroxide. I've changed that twice since Saturday. Probably should have done one more time than that, but I didn't. And so my landing has smelled a little bit. My landlord did come home and hasn't said anything, so I'm hoping they just haven't noticed, and let's just hope that continues. This is so gross. Sorry, I'll do something useful at some point. I just can't get over how bad this is. Alright, what do we got? Here, let me get some tools. Oh my god, okay. So, tool number 1. Brought to you by Colgate. We're just gonna... Yeah, I should have taken that off a different way. Oh well. Let's get a toothbrush out here. So, this toothbrush has never been used in a human mouth and never will. Alright, so... Classic toothbrush, I'm gonna scrub at it, so I've got that guy. I've got my cartilage knife, so I can kind of hack at a few things here and there. Come on. I do have my hemostat, my beloved handy-dandy hemostat. And where's my favorite poke device? There it is. And you guys know my absolute favorite probe. So I've got a variety of tools. Wish that wasn't a terrible angle. How did I do that? There we go. That's a good angle. Oh my god, this is so nasty. So basically my entire goal here is to just get as much off as I can real fast and then get it back in hydrogen peroxide. And back out in my hallway. Library rat. Yes, there is still goo on the back of the skull, for lack of a better term. No, goo is correct. It maybe once, had some sort of biological use, such as muscle. It's goo. So yeah, you can see this big blab right here. That's just old muscle and connective tissue that's been completely oxidized by the hydrogen peroxide and is now hanging limply, slimily off the back of there. And this is one of the reasons I was working on the muscle for so long without doing this step, is the muscle doesn't smell as bad when it's fresh, straight up, and it's not as slimy. Now everything is super slimy, so it's going to be a little looser, but also freaky slimy. So I got a lot I got to work on there. I am so glad I have disposable gloves. So personal protective equipment is a little hard to come by these days, and as it should be going to our hospitals and being used to save lives. So I was able to get this knockoff brand of really terrible gloves, and I hate these. And I was thinking I should go try to get a better brand. And I'm like, you know what? No, PPE right now. I'm lucky I got these. I hate them, and I'm going to use them to, touch a disgusting skull, and it's fine. I'll let the not necessarily first responders, I'll let all the medical people get their fair crack first. Alright, beautiful, brand new Colgate City View Dental toothbrush. Let's go. What can I get off? Now, let's see. Well, that makes very little difference. Rock and roll. How about over here? Oh, and I do have a container of warm soapy water, which, actually I'll just put in the bin. Let's put that in here. So the warm soapy water has got Dawn dish soap in it. I don't expect it to really, clean it in any real sense, but... Oh my god, this is so gross. Oh, there's a big old piece of something. Okay, hold on. This is so disgusting. My gosh. I continue to be impressed with just how putrid and horrifying this is. Oh, and it's really not that loose. So this is a week of soaking. This is, a week pretty much exactly. Minus a few hours. Now, this stuff is on here like it means it. Yeah, I'm learning so much by doing this, and one of those things I learned is that all the time I spent picking at this as it, over the weeks was correct. I was doing more good for myself by trying to get this stuff taken care of then than I am now. So, good job, me of the past. You're on a good track there. This is so horrifyingly gross. My goodness. Yeah, I'm basically stirring it up, so I keep getting, new exciting smells. But... no, actually, Library Rat, I was gonna look at those once I got to the point with this where I couldn't go on. So I'll look at those birds, when I am too disgusted with this to, pick at it any longer. Oh, there's a good chunk of brain. I am shocked by how much brain is still left in here. But, oh, I'm getting some sort of message on my phone, and I am not touching my phone. Yeah, so library rat, my plan is to inventory those little guys at the end of this stream when I get tired of this. Because I'm going to get tired of this. This is a level of horror that I really hadn't anticipated. Oh, see right up his nose. Like, you know, I've dealt with stinky stuff. Stuff happens, you deal with dead things, you deal with stinky stuff. Fine, whatever, move on. There's just so much of it. This is a lot. This is a lot of stinky stuff. Oh yeah, and like this goo on the back of the skull here does not want to move. It seems to be very happy remaining attached back here. So generally speaking, you get used to bad smells after a while. You know, people just adjust. Kind of still waiting for that to happen here. I'd like to adjust and stop noticing this. This is so bad. Oh my god. So ideally, with this step, you actually leave it in a bucket to macerate. So maceration is letting the bacteria, you know, eat all of this goo for you. You would let it do that for weeks to possibly months. And I was hoping to speed up the process with the hydrogen peroxide. And at the moment, it's not evident that I succeeded at that at all. I turned everything white. You know, like the chemical reaction did a thing, for sure, but did it do a useful thing? I don't know. And the hydrogen peroxide, you know, does start leaching the fat out and all sorts of useful stuff. Like, there's... Yay, but I don't know if I shorten my timetable here, like, at all. I think I'm going to be dealing with this nasty old guy for weeks. Ooh, there's a big chunk I got loose, though. And the bone, when I get the shmoo off of it, the bone underneath is a beautiful translucent color. You know, it's really, it looks real good in a lot of ways. It's just like, yeah, this, blah, that's disgusting. That's nightmare fuel. Let's see. And it's funny, because anybody who's just like, oh, I wonder what that smells like, I wonder what that feels like. No, you're probably right. You know, it smells that bad. It is that slimy. You know. Okay, well, I can slice this stuff off. That doesn't really get it unadhered from the bone, but at least there's less of it to smell. My goodness, this is so stinky. Like, so in the lab, if we were, the largest skull we ever cleaned, I think, was a mink or a rabbit. You know, nothing super big. And that was bad enough. We'd open the jar and a big plume of stink would come out, and we'd all squeal and run around and remark upon how gross it is. And then within a few minutes it was gone. You know, the stink would dissipate, we'd all move on with our lives. This is not going away. There's just so much of it, and it's so putrid. Yeah, I am now regretsy that I didn't just plug away longer and get more of this off manually. So this is what I've learned. What animal is the skull from? This is a common sheep. So I actually bought this, I can hold it up for you. Boop! That's a sheep. I bought it from the grocery store. This was in the deli. $6.99 a pound. So, boom. So yeah. Common, delicious, eaten sheep. And, ugh. I've never worked on a skull this big, and this is too funny. It's so rancid. Yeah, no, 49 Mountains, this is a world. It's a whole world I hadn't explored before. A whole world of stench. To quote Labyrinth. I am now the Prince of Stench. Oh my god. Oh my god, okay, yeah. And I keep getting, like, I've got big chunks. So mostly what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to grab big putrid pieces of flesh and get them off. I don't want them on here anymore. They smell terrible. They're just going to harbor bacteria and stop the overall process of what I want, which is for the bones to let go of all the tissue and for everything to degrease. This is, whoo! Oh, there's a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I need a good vent. I have the window over there is cracked slightly, but it's really cold in Chicago tonight, so I haven't opened it a huge amount. I may yet open that more, but oh my god. And you know that, like, all three of my cats are probably lined up outside the door being like, what you doing? I'm gonna stick my face in that. I'm a cat. Oh my god. I still can't believe the amount of brain that was still stuck in there. I thought I did a really good job getting the brain out. No, evidently not. Okay, here's something... Am I gonna be able to... I don't think there's a way to get a camera to be able to see this. Nuts. You know, okay, no, I'm gonna take the glove off. We're just gonna blow through gloves tonight. It's gonna be that kind of night. Blah. Because I want you guys to be able to see this. This is cool. Alright, so, actually, okay, I'll zoom in slowly so you have any hope of being able to orient. So, tip of the nose, or front lip, basically, teeth, and then this opening goes up into the sinuses. So you know how, like, if you swallow wrong, you can actually snort stuff out your nose? That's this hole. And if you guys look real closely in here, poke and stick here, this is one of the really delicate sinus bones, and the tissue is coming off of that really nicely. So that's something I was wondering about, is how to clean out those sinuses, because they're like folded layers of, you know, like I don't know if anybody who's had like a flake chocolate bar, but you know, layers and layers of flaky chocolate. That's kind of what sinuses are like. There's your weird metaphor for the night. And so I'm actually really happy with how clean this is back here. This I am not happy with. All of this, like, blah, putrid, nasty, soft goo. All of this. I'm gonna have to. Oh wow, that's a big old dangly piece of something there. So that's the stuff I'm really fighting with. But I do feel good about how the sinuses are coming along. What even is this? Yeah, okay, I'm gonna need two hands again. The lower jaw looks great. Like that. There's a little bit of gums up here in the front, so you can see that kind of line there. But the rest of this looks real good. Like the lower jaw. I think you guys can. Yeah, you can see. There's some dark areas here, so that's probably still, you know, blood and marrow that's inside the bones. That's got to come out. I don't want that staining, because that basically means there's something in there that might smell or become greasy later. So I'll need to soak it a little bit more. The hyoid looks fine. So this is the tongue bone. For anybody who hasn't seen this feed before, yes, tongues have bones, sort of. It doesn't attach to anything. It's just embedded in the muscle of your, like the bottom of your jaw and your tongue. And so I got this guy out, and it looks great. And, like, I don't even know how I would attach that to this finished skull. I mostly just wanted it. So that guy I might be able to finish up in some way. And then I did, like, that's a bit of a broken bone. I broke these a little bit from mishandling. Even the teeth look cleaner. There's still some grass in there, but they're looking pretty good. Alright, I'm going to put my camera back down. So back into view through the side. And put another glove on. So yeah, like soaking this has done a thing. It is successful, but it's not done. That's what's killing me. I really was hoping I'd be able to speed up the process with the hydrogen peroxide. Not so much. It's as if the people who have done this a million times before me had good data and knew what they were doing. Fine, but because I do have the equipment to actually properly like macerate it. Where I bought a aquarium heater, so I could actually make the bacteria bath nice and warm and stuff like that. But that's gonna smell. And now that my landlord is back in town, I gotta be careful. Because he's a nice guy. I really don't need to alienate that dude. He's a good dude. Man, where do I even go from here? This is so gross. Oh man. Evidently taking the leap from mice and squirrels directly up to sheep was a big one. This is not like doing a mouse or a squirrel. Yeah. Yeah, and like as soon as I disturb something, a new poof of smell comes up. So nasty. God. Hey, not here. Thanks for coming. This is so gross. I'm sorry for everybody that this stream is mostly going to be me just going ew and giggling, but apparently that's the life we lead right now. I cannot believe how gross this is. And I mean, this was always going to be the challenge, you know, is how am I going to do specimen prep in an apartment in Chicago? I live on the second floor. I don't have access to a yard. I certainly don't have a separate outbuilding. And it freezes in the winter, so the little tiny balcony I have limited stuff I can do out there. Oh yeah, you are so glad not to be here in person. It's epic. It's great. Yeah, like, this might be the only sheep I ever do. Originally, I was like, oh, they're so easy to get. I can just walk down the grocery store. Maybe I'll do lots of sheep heads. Oh, God, no. Not if this is the only method I can come up with. If I can come up with something better, then fine. You know, I'll do something better. But, no, this is so gnarly. This is so gross. Like, I have the vent, like the shower vent on in my bathroom, which is clearly not this room, just in case the smell creeps out of this room and makes it across the hall, so that somehow that'll, like, disperse the smell all the more. I really don't need this haunting my dreams. No, that sounded like I broke. I really want to get these sinuses clean, but I also really don't want to break them because they're really delicate. Oh, it's so gross. This is phenomenal. I'm so glad I did this. Like, this is what trying things is all about. Sometimes you're like, whoa, nope. And this is one of those times. This is astonishingly not something I want to do again. Oh, I got that loose. There's a lot of this I don't even know. Like, I don't want to pull and break things, you know. Oh, the lower jaw looks real good, though. Like, you guys can see this. There's bits, you know, there's definitely some vascular areas, and there's some gums. But the lower jaw is real slick, but it's nice flat angles. Do I have any essential oils? Maybe? Tonight's the night to find out, isn't it? I'll go digging around in the bathroom cabinet, see what I can find. I gotta have something. I'm sure of it. Yeah, because I was never one of the people in the lab who brought in essential oils. A bunch of my people in the taxidermy lab would actually, like, plan ahead and dab essential oils on, like, a surgical mask and work with the surgical mask, and I kind of feel like I should have done something like that. Library rat, don't worry about it. It's gonna work out. I can boil mint or cloves on the stove if I really need to. But yes, if anybody's never tried that, and you have, like, especially if you have kind of old expired spices that you realize you just haven't used in forever, throw them in a pot of water on the stove and bring it to a nice simmer and just let it simmer, and your kitchen then smells nice. So, might go that route. So, okay, really common thing when you're cleaning bones, the teeth are now loose. I don't know how well you guys can see that. So, gotta smudge the apartment. Unfortunately, library rat, I find the smell of burning sage to be absolutely repulsive. I had a neighbor for a while who must have been haunted by 10,000 generations of her own ancestors or something. She smudged all the time, and it's just so acrid. So, unfortunately, not a fan. I respect anybody who does it. Fine, do you. not the biggest fan. She was a trip. Like, this neighbor was the classic kind of sweet, kind, but weird downstairs neighbor. And at the time, I didn't have a car. I was using Zipcar. Turns out she was also using Zipcar, and the reason I know this is we rented a Zipcar and went to put groceries in the trunk, and the trunk was entirely filled with her stuff. And I know it's her stuff because her mail was in there. And it was like, dude, after you're done with the car, you need to take the stuff out. Yeah, she was a piece of work. Okay, there's a real, put it here. There, you guys can kind of see. There's like a separation line here that I don't want to pull on too much. These gums are giving me a little bit of hassle. I bet every one of these teeth is going to fall out before I'm done with this project. Oh well, let's glue them back in. Teeth falling out is just a thing. That's, like, kind of normal. Oh. Library rat, take a picture of what? The teeth, so I know where to put them back. Yeah, thinking with your thinker. Thank you. I will do that before I pack this away tonight. Yeah. Thank you for that reminder. That is always good advice. This is where it's nice to have someone on stream who has heard me give them that advice or given other people that advice, because that's literally what I've told other people, and I hadn't thought of it yet. Collective memory. Go team. Ah. Just got brains all over my toothbrush. There's a sentence. Okay, I don't think... I forgot to cover my keyboard. Well, here's hoping I don't splash. So the hyoid is lovely, and I think it's not going to go back in the big bath. Brains, go away. This just might be like... Can I get anything else off of this? Yeah, no, the hyoid I think is done. So that I'm probably going to try and dry. It still has the cartilage holding it together, and that's actually something nice about the hydrogen peroxide treatment versus just letting it rot, is it keeps the cartilage in place. So the hyoid, I think I'm going to dry it and try to pin it so that it is back in the shape that it would have been inside the sheep's noggin. So that's not going back in with this stuff. Lordy. I don't even know what to do here. This is so much snot and gross. Oh, I should have just stuck with it. Oh well, we learn. Experimentation. Sometimes you don't get the result you thought you were going to get, but you learn anyway. Will I attach the hyoid back on the skull? No, because it doesn't actually attach anywhere to the skull. It was entirely surrounded by muscle. So I would have to basically like suspend it with wires in space in the sheep jaw. So it'll just be a separate thing, and I can be like, hey everybody, you want to look at my sheep hyoid? And everybody will be like, well yes, of course, we're visiting your house. We know this sort of thing happens. I can picture the whole thing. I have occasionally glued or wired various weird bones back together like that. Like, birds have a ring of bones inside their eyeball. So again, the bones aren't attached to other bones. They're just floating inside the eyeball. But they can look really cool if you can preserve the sclerotic ring and then, like, kind of strategically mount it back into the skull. It looks really good. So I have done floating bones of various sorts. But I don't think I'll do that with this sheep. It's just real big. And especially if I do ever get this clean to a point where I can cover it in rhinestones, then it won't really go with that. So it'll just be my own sweet memory of this smell. Okay, so this stuff is coming off a little bit nicer along here than it was on the other side. I don't think it's worth the trade-off. but it is, it has had an effect, and that's nice. Good gosh, the smell. I mean, and this is a smell you could taste. You know, it's so strong. It's, oh my god, this is a smell. Yeah, everybody's happy that I'm not doing this in a public lab. I never actually got yelled at by anybody at the museum for the smell from my lab, although there were a few times I probably should have. It's a good COVID test, haha, yeah. Hashtag 2020. Yeah, no, trust me, my sense of smell is intact. This is good. As far as I'm aware, I've never contracted COVID, and I suppose if this is a test, then I'm passing it. Lucky me. I had idly wondered if I had got COVID before we knew it was in Chicago, because I was really, really sick in February. But hearing what the experience is like for everybody else, no, I just had some other dang thing. Yeah, not here. It's our sense of humor that's going to get us through. You gotta face it. Because it's real. Silly reality. Interjecting in our daily lives. What a pain in the butt. Right now, my reality is stank. The world right now is coming to focus. Although I have to say, so, like a lot of people, I've been feeling a lot of anxiety and things like, you know, other negative mental health effects from the world as it is. And I don't feel anxious at all right now. I am too busy going, ew. So, hey guys, come to my new therapy program where you pick rancid meat off of dirty old skulls and are too disgusted to think of anything else. Where's my money? Yeah, I'm good at giggling. I'll take that. Oh, it's so slimy. Like, okay, you guys can see I've got this, like, wobbly... This is the eye. So this hole right here is where the eyeball used to be. And there's this really thick muscle that goes all the way around it. And I'm working on getting that off. That's working out nicer. Let go. Just go away. Ah. Oh, hey, there's a little bit of retina back left in there. I'll show you guys in a second. It's a completely different color. Oh, this is actually coming off in a fairly satisfying manner. Okay, well. You know what I don't want to do is have it just, like, let go and splash, you know, whatever along my wall. Here's hoping. Oh, this is so gross. Oh, man. What did you do on Saturday? I was tugging at rancid sheep eye muscles. How about you? Alright, I got the cool bit out anyway. Oh, let go! Come on, sheep. Oh, leaning over it like that is the worst. Huh! Stinky sheep, you're so stinky. Like, sheep has a smell, and so when I had the nice fresh meat that, you know, was sold at the grocery store because you can cook it and eat it, I still didn't really like the smell. This doesn't smell anything like that now. This just smells, like, way gross. Thanks, not here. I need the cheers. Thank you very much. You're a lifesaver. The adorable corgi helps as well. Oh my god. So rancid, so gross. Ugh. This is so bad. Okay, I've almost got this piece out because I want to show you guys the differently colored tissue. But it's being a little pernicious. Let's see. Alright. Ha 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 ha. Okay, got that. That's a big satisfying piece. But There, you guys, there, you can see this really dark area here. That's the end of the optic nerve where it attached to the retina. And so the retina has all the dark pigmentation, so it absorbs all the light. And so I didn't realize it went that far back, but it apparently does, and that's cool. So, oh my gosh, the smell is so bad. I moved something new. There's variation to it. Like, that bit smelled a bit like tires. It's a weird way to describe it, but there you go. Oh, there's a big piece. My goodness. So juicy. This is very gross. Yeah, I am ready to be done with mammals. I am a bird person. My taxidermy focuses on birds, not mammals. And, whew. I'm definitely going back to that world if I possibly can. The hard thing is it's hard to get legal birds. Because migratory birds in the United States are protected, as well they should be. But, you know, for my personal interest, it'd be nice if I could go out and just get a dang robin. But I can't, so I won't. And I do have a couple of birds that actually require specific licensing in my freezer at this moment, which will probably make a appearance later in the stream. And those I'm actually doing pro bono for the Chicago Academy of Sciences. So I can possess them because I actually have the licensing to aid in salvage, so I can have them. But when they're done, they have to go to the licensee, which is the Chicago Academy of Sciences. So that's kind of a treat. But when am I planning on doing the pigeon? After I do all of the licensed birds. So the pigeon will be a treat sometime later this year, possibly early next year. Yeah, I want to... So, as per my my license, my salvage license, I can hold the specimens until December 31st, or the end of my licensing period, which is next March. And so I really got to get those birds for the Academy done before the end of the calendar year. Which is, you know, reasonable. So I actually might end up doing extra streams. We'll see when I'm doing that stuff. But, yeah. And they haven't been assigned to session numbers yet because I just got them today, but that's coming. And, yeah, they'll be nice. And those are going to be study skins. One of them might not be. I have to talk to... So, Dawn Roberts is the manager of the collection... Or, I'm sorry. The senior director of the collection... at the Chicago Academy of Sciences, and I have to just double check what she wants me to do with everything, because the specimens belong to her. So I'd actually meant to call her today, but I got distracted by 20 things and didn't, so I will touch base with Dawn soon. And if anybody uses online research databases, such as Arctos database, Dawn has been amazing at digitizing the collection, and so you can actually research the vast majority of the collection through Arctos. So that stuff is digital, online, the data is there and available for scientists around the world because of her hard work. So it's kind of cool to know that you can start with a stinky specimen like this, get it into a database like that through such an institution, and then those data are available globally instantly for people to do comparative studies or whatever they're up to. So, and working with Dawn is nice, so, you know. If anybody's in the museum or library world and ends up working with Dawn Roberts, she's a gem. Oh, whew, okay. Okay, I need a minute. Whew. Have I mentioned that this smells? I don't know if it's come up yet. Whew. Aw, 49 Mountains, thank you. I don't know know if I know exactly who you are. I feel like I should. But... Oh, wait, is that... Dawn, is that you? Have I just been gushing about you and you're on stream? If so, I feel vaguely silly, but it's also all true. Oh my god. Hi, Dawn. Well, I miss you. You're really cool. Also, I'm so glad we never did a specimen this big in the lab. Oh my god, hi! So hey, I have specimens. Oh shoot, okay, if you're on right now, I'm gonna go get those so you can see them and take a break from this, because I could use a break anyway. Oh my god, the smell. Ugh. Oh, you're working late. Well, I'm glad you were tuning in. Thank you. Oh man, my hand is wet. I managed to get a hole in my glove somehow. Oh, that's viciously gross. Oh, I'm so glad I'm keeping you company. Okay, well, Dawn, let me take a quick second and show you the birds I picked up today. Okay. So, reminder to anybody who doesn't know this, you cannot possess local birds. So even though robins are common, crows are common, whatever like that, you may not possess them legally. It's against international law. There's a law called the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. So you can't have them. You can have any pigeons, but you can't have these birds. So here's what I've got that I picked up from an unnamed person that will be going to the museum. Oh, wow, these are freezer burned. Alright. So we've got, from spring of this year, okay, and it's got data. So this one has a date and time, a lot of description about where they were found, and the name of the finder. So this one is data bearing. And it looks like two beautiful little warblers. Two different species. Man. I don't have my ID with me right now. Oh, they are so freezer burned. Dang it, dang it. Okay, well, we'll see how well I can do. I'm pretty good at freezer burned birds. This is something I got good at. So, two little warblers. This one with the brown is like a chestnut-fronted warbler, and then this one... Ah, I should know these. Okay, so... Pretty freezer burned, but data bearing. And so this is interesting. Let's say that these fail. Let's say I can't taxidermy them because they're too dried out. It's alright. I'm still going to take measurements and gather data about them, and then at least we have the original finder's data, so they will still be a specimen. Oh, that's right. I knew there was going to be a little no data mouse in here, so that one's for me. Okay, I have a no data bluebird. Wow, it's pretty. Like, you can see the colors on that. So this one was apparently found a couple years ago. Data was not taken, which is a tragedy. It's a little freezer burned, but it seems okay. So this one I might preserve differently. I can have like a wing out or use it as some sort of more educational piece. Oh, this one's the mourning dove. Oh, I love mourning doves. Alright, looks like it has a beautiful, robust bit of data in there, so that'll just be a nice specimen. And then the big guy. There's our data. So, again, like location, time, description, collected by, that's really... Oh man, I could try doing a mount. A little bluebird mount. Oh, it'd be so cute. Oh, this can't be a Cooper's. What are you, little friend? Oh, you're so fresh. This is not a Cooper's hawk. This is a sharp-shinned hawk. Very common mistake. Sharp-shinned and Coopers both have this stripy tail and these beautiful bars here. Wow, this one's in great condition. Oh, it's a pretty bird. So sharp-shinned hawks and Cooper's hawks are both accipiters, which means they generally catch their prey birds on the wing, so they're stunt fighters. They can go winding through between tree branches and things and catch little birds while they're flying. Oh, it's so pretty. Wow, that's a great specimen. That's a really nice bird. Like, and the eyes are not sunken in. It's really good and fresh. Okay, so we've got 2 fantastic high-quality specimens with data. We have 2 that are low-quality specimens because they're really freezer-dried, but they do have data, so they're still useful to science. And then this gorgeous bluebird, which, Dawn, there needs to be a phone call. I can try doing a mount, like a really simple little mount. I think I can do that at home. Or even just the wing out. So I'll get in there. Once I skin it, we can kind of talk about that. He's really muddy, unfortunately. I'll have to give him a bath. And then an adorable little mouse, which is probably just a deer mouse. He's got the light-colored body and belly, and his tail is about as long as the entire body. I'd have to look it up, though. I'm not as good at mammals. Little buddy. All right. So, okay, so... and none of the birds smell. No, they don't. That's the great thing. Things that are not rotten don't particularly smell, and birds have that kind of chicken soup smell, that kind of warm, pleasant feather smell. But I wouldn't taxidermy, so I wouldn't skin and preserve the skins on something that was rotten. They would just fall apart. And so they're all prime and fresh, and the person who found them kept them frozen, so they're in really good condition. So yeah, these guys are just beautiful. And, like, will I wash my hands? Yes, I will. There's still, nasty, horrible diseases I could get from this, but not a ton. And yeah, so this bird's just really prime. So, okay, so yeah, so these guys are, not for tonight, because I haven't thawed them. So when I do this project, probably starting next week, now that I have these, I picked them up today, so these are new. Next week, I'll actually go through the whole data gathering process on stream, so you guys can watch the nitty-gritty science side, as well as peeling them. And I'm actually going to start with the not a Cooper's hawk, no, the Sharpshin hawk, because he's the biggest one. He's going to take the longest to dry. So I'll go in size order. I'll go Cooper's hawk, mourning dove, probably the bluebird, although we'll see about that. No, actually, no, let's save the blue for last. The little warblers last. Because, like, the warblers will take, I don't know, 5 minutes to dry. They're already dry as it is. Whereas the Sharpshin hawk is going to take a week to dry. I'd rather have it ready to go. But, oh, I love Sharpies. They're just so cute. Okay. Well, that was actually even more exciting than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, we've got 5 total birds for the museum. And, they'll go into the scientific collection. How am I going to keep them safe after prepping them? That is a valid question. For anybody who had not seen on my stream, earlier this fall, I prepped an adorable little Chinese white-throated quail, or a little king quail. And my cat's got it. And so I thought the shelf was high enough. I was wrong. And my cats absolutely shredded this really, really cute little taxidermy form I did. I was really sad. So what I've done in the meantime is what I often do to solve many of my problems. I went dumpster diving. And I found a really nice little wooden shelf. And so I was able to kind of clear space on my landing and put the shelf out there. And so that's where the skull has been, is actually out on that, the new shelf. And so I have that space, and luckily the birds won't smell. So that's okay. The other downside of doing this prep work at my house is, while I try to do IPM, so I try to do integrated pest management and keep pests away from my home, It's a common stairwell. It leads to the outdoors. I'm not going to have as much control over potential, like, insects that might land on the specimens, things like that. So I'm going to drape the whole thing in plastic. And it has to have enough through-fare that can dry, but I want to make sure flies don't land on it, things like that. And so that's why when I eventually give the final specimens to the Academy, Dawn is then going to have to freeze them and put them through a freeze-thaw cycle to make sure that anything that did lay eggs on them, it will go away. So this isn't optimal. It's much better to do this in a completely, kind of protected system. But 2020, it's not optimal. Okay, well, after that glorious break, I'm going to get the stinky skull back out. Ugh. So there's our friend. In case you were wondering, yes, it does still smell horrifyingly bad. Yeah, my cats, I haven't heard them actually pulling on the door yet, but I'm sure they're lined up, ready to ask me a number of questions about what I've been doing and why it smells so interesting. My cats question my motives on a lot of things, so that's well within their purview. Oh, purview. Anyway. This is so gross. Apropos of very little, that reminds me of a really terrible joke I saw today. If everybody is ready for a really terrible joke, if I can remember it correctly. What is the difference between a coyote and a flea? I love jokes like that because there's so many answers. Like, that's just a way to confuse a 4-year-old. The difference between a coyote and a flea is a coyote howls on the prairie and a flea prowls on the hairy. There you go. Which everybody drops off my stream. There's a lot of bad jokes out there, and 2020, again, great time for them. Man, it's funny, like, as soon as I have disgusting gloves on, I feel like my phone is going off all the time. Oh well, I'm sorry everybody who's texting me. I'm at work. Ooh, I got a really big putrid chunk. I keep being surprised by the ones that still have any evidence of blood in them. Aw, thank you, Library Rat. Thank you for the cheer. I cannot believe how much fun the bits are. Like, they're just... Twitch has all these really fun mechanics, and cheering with bits makes me feel nice. So thank you. I appreciate it. I saw that joke on Instagram on another bone prep person's feed, and I was like, yeah, so I am rudely blanking on their name. If I think of it, I will give credit, but it was good. Man. I keep finding myself doing detail work and I shouldn't. Like, the little thin parts aren't what smells really bad. You know, it's these big, snotty Jubilee bits that I have to get off. But I like working on detail stuff. Just also wish I wasn't about to pass out from odor. Ugh. Yeah, so with the hydrogen peroxide treatment, I actually chose a middle road, which is maybe why it's not amazing. One of the websites I found that was mentioning doing this to reduce smell also used pure ammonia. And so you actually douse the whole thing in ammonia, which of course would just nuke the bacteria even more so than the hydrogen peroxide. So, like, they soak it in ammonia first, I think, to just nuke it and then move on to the hydrogen peroxide. And I hadn't done the research to figure out if ammonia had any long-term effect on the bones, and I also just didn't happen to own any yet, and so I didn't use it. But given how badly this smells, I can see some benefits to nuking it with ammonia. But then, of course, you have to smell ammonia, but I would argue at this moment that that's a better smell. Although I suppose this one doesn't cause cancer. So. Oh man, which reminds me that I have 1,000 projects I want to get started. I have all these things I've always wanted to try. And one of them is, oh, gross. Sorry, weird eyeball bit. One of them is diaphanization, which is the clearing and staining. And I've talked about that a little bit. So you get like, you actually leave the tissue in place, the tissue becomes completely transparent, and then you can, the bones and the cartilage are stained blue and red, so you can really see them. And I have some seriously cute little like juvenile specimens of things that would be great for diaphanization, and I just have to buy a ton of kind of funky chemicals for that, including formaldehyde or formalin. And I have to make sure that I have ventilation and a safe place to put formalin, because again, I have cats and they're jerks, and that stuff is actually pretty toxic. So I think I can do it. I've actually been considering just getting like a chemical cabinet to put out on my landing, because then it has a door on it, which might help my neighbors. Meh. And then it'd be, you know, literally doing its job, keeping fumes in place and all that mess. I just have to rearrange some stuff. My landing, I often describe putting stuff on the landing. It's not that big. Like, it's a lot of Tetris to try and get stuff to fit out there. But I try. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff out there. Stacked. I was talking to my dad earlier, and he was asking me if I wanted certain things from like vacations we took together, and I was like, no man, I don't have anywhere to put it. Can it stay safe at your house? And the answer is yes. My dad's very nice. Oh man, okay, so the occipital is killing me. It has all this soft, fluffy, horrible goo left on it, and it does not want to come off. Ugh. Yeah, like this whole area. I got a lot of the other bits off that I was focusing on, so that's good. What is this? Oh, man. Yeah, you guys kind of can't see that. Yeah, no, it's a big ball of goobers is what I'm poking at. Stinky goobers. Stinky head goobers. This is all technical. These are technical words. Oh. Oh, so I have a delightful story from Thursday. I responded, so somebody tagged me on Facebook because a high school in California was looking for professionals of different sorts to be interviewed by their students who were interested in those professions. You know, okay, great. In the world of remote classrooms, that's a really fantastic idea. And one person had said they wanted to talk to a taxidermist. Oh, there's a really big satisfying piece. And so I got tagged by a friend. And so I responded, and I was like, hey, you know, I'll talk to one of your kids. And they, you know, they want to know more about me. And I was like, oh, I do museum taxidermy, not like decorative taxidermy particularly. Blah, blah, blah. Here's my LinkedIn. And so they ended up setting it up with me. And it's like, okay, cool. So this was back in August. This is like the beginning of the school year that this teacher was trying to set this up. And it finally happened on Thursday. There were some miscommunications. Even the day of, it was late. Whatever. It's the world we live in right now. So I finally get on the horn with this high school student from Oakland, California. And it turns out she actually doesn't want to be a taxidermist. She was just really curious about it. Wow, that's a big old. I think that's more optic nerve. No, where are we? I don't know what that is. Maybe that's just a really big blood vessel. Okay, that's cool. But she just was curious. She wants to be a criminal defense lawyer, with a focus on racial justice, or a pathologist, and couldn't think of a third thing. So she just put down taxidermist, and then she ends up talking to me. And so she was a gem. It was fun. And I ended up talking. I was told that this interview was going to last 20 minutes. It lasted 2 hours, and I had to kick her off the phone so I could go and live my life. So we had a great time chatting. And it was so familiar. It really reminded me of being at the desk and chatting with people. Because a lot of people, when you first are like, yeah, taxidermy, they're like, you're a creep and a weirdo. And it's like, while I'm not going to necessarily say you're wrong on those particular charges, there's more to it. And, she was surprised when I said that I learned taxidermy because I love animals. Oh, yeah, no, Dawn, it was great. She was so cute. And she, the conversation, of course, went all over the place. So I answered her questions. She had pre-written out. She did a good job on her assignment. She had pre-written questions for me. And it was great talking to her because the young lady in question is African American, and one of her questions was, what's something about your profession that people are surprised to learn or have the wrong impression of? And I said, first of all, most taxidermy is not super splashy, bloody, disgusting. People don't expect that. And the other thing is that, it's really racially diverse. And, the lab was full of, people of all different sorts. And I got her to the website for Carl Cotton because there's a really fantastic bunch of info from the Field Museum about him. For anybody who hasn't looked up Carl Cotton, I recommend it. He's great. He was a taxidermist at the Field Museum for 30 years. A lot of his stuff is still on display. And, he was an African-American gentleman during the Civil Rights era and just a magnificent artist. So, I had fun with that. And then conversation rolls here and there and everywhere, and I've talked about cats for half of it, but that's okay. Yeah, the I learned taxidermy because I love animals thing is so unexpected by people. Yeah, people are like, no, you must hate animals because you hang out with dead ones. You're like, no, I love animals. I love what they do. I love learning about them. I love everything about animals. And picking around at their dead bodies teaches me a lot and gives me an opportunity to create educational pieces. People don't see that coming. She was fun. So yeah, if anybody has any other high school students you want me to talk to, it was remarkably fun. And the other big thing, I was like, if you're going to be a criminal defense lawyer, you should just, maybe email one of your local representatives and find out where they went to school, and, you can figure out what college you want to go to that way. And she's like, I can't talk to my local representatives. I'm like, yeah, you can. And I had a whole, I need you to email an elected official today. Just start doing it now. You're 16. Now is a great time to start becoming more active in that and creating relationships with your elected officials. I have no idea if she'll listen to me. She is, in fact, 16. But I hope so. And I look forward to following her magnificent career in criminal justice and/or pathology. Oh, good people, have I mentioned this smells? Whew. This smells. Oh. Oh, man. Oh, and no, it doesn't make me feel nauseous. Actually, it makes me feel thirsty because I keep swallowing. I think my body wants to clear away the bad by swallowing. And so at this point, I'm kind of thirsty. Oh, what's that? Oh, cool! Oh, sweet. Okay. Oh, cool. Hold on. I gotta get my glove off. This is a juvenile. I hadn't been sure before, but now I know. I gotta show you how I know. I took my other glove off. Hold on. Okay, so the conversation had come up when I started working on this thing of it was labeled at the grocery store as being lamb. But the teeth are really kind of worn and they were really gross, and so I was like, I don't know if it's a baby because it has funky teeth. And so you can see the teeth are pretty sharp, but they've got a lot of debris in them and they're kind of stained. And they're less stained now because they've been soaking, but that was definitely a thing. But if you look back here, if you guys can see this kind of aperture here, make my poking stick. In here are unerupted teeth. Those are brand new molars. So you can see this right here is the final tooth that's erupted from the jaw. These are brand new teeth that are still inside the skull. They haven't erupted yet. And so there was a little thin layer of like flexible bone that I accidentally busted through when I was pulling some tissue off, and that exposed the teeth inside. Ooh, they're really loose. That's cool. Yeah, no, that's exciting. So this is a juvenile. So now we know for sure that the term lamb here at least did mean, not a full adult. I think it's still older than what Anna Marie would call a lamb, but I think of lambs as being something you can pick up and cuddle, and this is a big old honking critter. But yeah, there's its effectively its wisdom teeth. I really doubt they're called that in Sheepsville here, but so that means over here I've got this like this is so hard to do by hand. There it is. This, I haven't pulled all the extra tissue off of this yet, but I'm assuming I'll find more teeth in there. So, alright, well that's a treat. Okay, so I'm still learning things. I don't know everything about my little friend here, but I'm gonna go back to calling it a lamb now, instead of just a sheep. Good old Ovis Aries. Ah, that's cool. That's so cool. Juvenile mammal teeth are so weird. That's so cool. Whew, I shouldn't leave that close though. It still smells real bad. Let me see if I can get these exposed. Yeah, there's like a thin membrane of just tissue between like the kind of two bits of bone here. And here I was afraid I'd broken something, but don't believe I did. I think that was just waiting to bust out. Okay, library right. So you don't know if this is true, but a quick Google search said that after 2 months all the teeth should have erupted. Ooh. Yeah, if you can find a solid source on that, then that will give us an age for our sheep. Okay, so this, I pulled one of these out from the other side. This is the, like, tissue padding that was between the teeth and that edge of thin bone. So they had, like, a particular, like, it's kind of fatty. That's cool. Yeah, no, they're on the other side, too. I mean, of course they are, but it's still nice to have that confirmation. Well, that's neat. Yeah, library rat. If we can get a confirmed age on this little guy... Because I think it's one tooth. It's got double cusps on it, but I think for this type of critter, that actually is just one tooth. So one unerupted molar. Well, that's cool. Oh, there's that other tube thing. Yeah, I'm back on that side. Blah. So that came... No, that's a sinus thing. Whatever that was, that's related to sinus. Not eyeball. I'm starting to get some real good chunks out, though. Oh. Looks like I accidentally ripped out some really thin bone. Oh well. That's okay. Ooh, that made a slurpy noise. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but I sure could. Oh. Man, this is so gross and cool. Can I get this thing out? No, not really. Okay, we'll go back to the part I hate. I basically keep taking breaks. If I work around the eyes, I'm able to make more headway and feel good about myself. If I'm working on the back of the head, I basically just get grumpier and grumpier because it's mostly just gross and doesn't want to move. Oh. Yep, it's gross and doesn't want to move. Speaking of dumpster diving, this plastic bin that I've been using is a drawer from like a plastic set of shelves. And it's been the best thing. It's like a great height to be able to do this, and it has a really big capacity. So, who knew? Alleyway shopping. I tell you, I get the best stuff out of alleyways. I stopped for a while at the beginning of the pandemic when, you know, we weren't sure how coronavirus was spread, so alleyway shopping seemed like a bad idea. But now that, you know, more or less it's not really a surface-borne thing and you can just wipe stuff off and clean it up, I'm like, well, back to that then. And I've been able to get some really good things. And I don't go out for walks with any frequency like I used to, but if I'm out, I'm keeping an eye out. Okay, so I do not know what to do about the back of the head. Like, it just smells really bad. I shouldn't hold it that close to my face. Step one. It doesn't move. Like, I guess it's good to have your head really firmly attached to your neck. You know, I guess that makes some sense, but this is nightmarish. Like, I think I'm just, like, scratching channels into it, but I'm not actually really loosening anything. Oh, oof. Ugh. Does it make me nauseous at all? Not really. I wouldn't say that I'm hungry, but it's not that kind of, yeah, it does not give me what I would call a nauseous response. I mostly just want to move away from it. Like, my basic primitive brain is like, you shouldn't do that. You should move away from that object. And I'm like, I know, brain, you're right. However, I'm gonna just keep poking at it. So. Man, there's even, like, I keep finding more brain. Thought I got all that out the other day, and I was wrong. Sheep. They have more brains than you'd think. I did like that little fact I learned that apparently sheep are reasonably intelligent. Like, they're right on par with cows and stuff. So they're not... And they're very good at social intelligence. So they will learn your face. And they will know enough about human expression to know if you're angry at them or happy to see them. That's kind of endearing. Sheep. They have social skills. What's going on in there? There's like a big structure which I don't think is bone. Can I just destroy this? Rawr, rip it out. Oh, I don't know what it was, but I ruined it. Yeah, this is gonna have to soak a lot more. So what I could do, because my landlord is leaving again in the not too distant future, I could freeze it until I know that he's headed out for a while, and then put it back on the landing. Because there's 3 units in this building. We're at the top. Building owner lives in the middle, and a very nice family lives in the garden unit. And the garden unit's far enough away that I could be doing some pretty gnarly stuff on our landing, and I don't think it'll affect them. Like, I don't think so. But... oh, that... whew. I opened something up. Dinner tonight was a sweet potato hash with a little bit of baby bok choy, because I had some and I needed to use it up. Onions and garlic, and cremini mushrooms. And it was not like this at all. In case anybody's curious. I had a couple of sweet potatoes that were like 10 minutes from going off. I really needed to use them, so I was like, well, we're doing a hash. We're just gonna fill a skillet with sweet potatoes and go. And it came out fine. It's the sort of thing that's good with ketchup. Gluten-free and vegan. Ugh. For anybody who's on my Tuesday stream, I did bake this week. I did not make pie. I just didn't have the energy at any point this week, but I did make apple muffins. Because after talking about baking so much on Tuesday, there was no option. I had to. So something I'm trying to be really careful about, I don't know how well, okay, so you guys can see these 2 structures right here. Oh, hey, Clara! This is the joint for the first vertebrae. This is the actual occipital condyle. And so it's this really smooth joint to be able to move the head around. And I don't want to scratch it. It's this beautiful, smooth feeling. But I want to, like, attack the bone viciously around it. So, Clara, this is disgusting. This is the worst. Having this much tissue left on when trying to degrease, I miss your bugs. Your bugs continue to be superior to all things. Like, the smell is just amazing. And the tissue is so adhered on here. Ooh, although that part's coming off. Can I get an edge? Ugh, so nice, yeah. I've had to take a couple breaks, but I'm doing okay. I might have to open my window all the way. Like, I want to be able to work in here ever again. Ugh. And every time I disturb some new cavity, it's like, oh, here we go. Just like perfume. Claire, get off my channel. You're the worst. If you wear perfume like this, I question a lot of things. Oh, why is the camera foggy? It's inside a box. So I have a box here to catch all the shmoo and wet. So. Yeah, because I have to be able to work on it while it's still wet and drippy. Yeah, so you guys can see it at least. But, yeah. I came up with this bin when I was doing the foil ball, actually. Because I had to sand the foil ball in water. Or with water. And so that was the test run for this, and I was real happy with it. So. Oh, man, turning it over released a smell. Ugh. Oh, man. This is so gross. Oh, this is phenomenally nasty. The liquid that has collected in the bottom of this bin is a very putrid yellow. Like, it's exactly the sort of stuff that you would not want to, like, get on you. There's nothing good about this. Ugh. Oh, a dab of toothpaste. We were talking about essential oils, but yeah, toothpaste could work. Oh, but wouldn't the toothpaste be kind of burny? Ugh. Yeah, I know. I walked into this unprepared. Like, I knew it was gonna smell. There'd been plenty of warning it was gonna smell, but oh my gosh, this is real bad. Oh, and Clara, you missed it. Let me, for anybody else who hadn't seen this, we're getting rid of the gloves again. Ugh. It turns out that the sheep is a juvenile. So check it out. Can you see the uninterrupted molars back there? This side you can see them a little better. There you go, peeking through there. So yeah, there's the fully erupted molars and there's the uninterrupted molars. Unerupted, not interrupted. Back here. So that was pretty cool. Minty goodness for your nose when you're too poor for essential oils. I'll take it. Yeah, so it is a juvenile. So I'm back to calling it a lamb, not just a sheep. Fresh gloves. You know what? Before I get going, I'm going to open the window some more. One moment. It's not super cold out there yet. I don't think it's supposed to freeze tonight. So it's cold, but I think it's worth it. Oh, my small friend. I kind of don't want to. Ugh. Do I have any... Let's see. I don't have a piece of styrofoam in here. Oh, you know what? I can hear the rain. Okay, yeah, the wind is just in the other direction, so it's not coming in the window, but it is raining here. Yeah, no, it's November. It's not a great day to have the window open, but I do. Okay, so tell you what. I think I've reached a gross out point where I keep finding myself not wanting to come back to working on this. Although the lower jaw looks really good. It's starting to dry out a little bit. Clary said it's so brave to do it indoors. Anytime your degreasing bucket gets gunky, you dump it and run. Yeah, that's really what I'd rather be doing right now. Like, everything in my hindbrain is telling me to run away from this. This is bad for me. And yet, here I am. I basically had no luck at all getting this stuff off of here. I trimmed some of it that was long enough that I can get my scissors under there. No luck. That was real rough. I got really good into here. So into these cavities. I got a lot of schmutz out of there. I'm real happy with that. A lot of big dangly grody things. So that's pretty cool. Cleaned around the eyes a little bit more. I'm pretty happy with that. Messed with the sinuses a bit, but I still don't want to ruin those really thin bones, so I didn't screw with that too much. But they seem to be on a good direction. So, yeah, like, I've made headway. I got a lot out of here. Actually, I see one more piece that looks kind of easy to grab, so I'm going to get that out of there. But I think this just needs more time. More stinky time. Yeah, it looked easy, but that was a lie. Yeah, like what I'm really trying to do is dig out any holes and openings to the skull so that the hydrogen peroxide and water can get in there and start acting on those areas. Ugh. So I've opened it up. I definitely have more surface area now that's exposed that can be acted on, but ugh. Man. Yeah, let me get this piece out, and then I think we're done. So my last thing I'll do for the stream tonight is pin the hyoid, because that doesn't need any more time in the soup. I think it's degreased as it's gonna get, and I actually want the cartilage to continue to hold it together to give it shape, and so I'm gonna wash that guy off and then try to pin it to a board so it's kind of in the shape it would have been in life. Oh, this is a big, gunky, weird area. Oh, I don't know what this is, but it's gross. So gross. Alright. Ugh. Yeah, because this guy's looking great. The cartilage is slimy, but I kind of expected that. And the bones are really nice, and I can tell it didn't retain any blood or anything. It looks like it's just in good shape. So if I can get that guy pinned, it should just re-solidify and hold its kind of cool shape. So that's where that's at. Yeah, I'm done. This is nasty. Ugh. Look, I say. Blech. Alright. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put up my AFK and move some stuff around, and then I'll come back here with the pinning surface and see about getting that hyoid. So give me like 5-10 minutes, and I'll get the rest of that stuff. So see you guys in a little short while. Alright. I have to tell you, the difference between the smell in this room and the rest of my apartment is amazing. It's like a fresh spring zephyr out there. Whoo! Amazing. So, I have my big bin and all my tools soaking right now. So, they're doing their thing. The skull and jaw are still right here, so the smell is still very much in this room. I haven't put the hydrogen peroxide on that yet or anything, but I will get to that. But now I want to pin the hyoid, so I'm still going to be wearing gloves because, my goodness, so putrid. Ooh, those pins are nicely in focus, though. For once, my camera's actually pretty on the ball. Oh, man, that smell, though. Whew! Exciting. So this is just some styrofoam from packaging, and it's actually a double layer. I used some wire to kind of tie, I made like pins and have the corners together, so I have a nice like sturdy piece here. Alright, so there's my hyoid. There, so you guys can see it. So very floppy, very wet. And so I want to use my T-pins to try and hold it up. And I think this orientation is going to be the best for me. So they're called T-pins because they are shaped like little T's. Great. And they give you a nice grip. It's easy to hold on to them. So they're very commonly used for taxidermy and various art things. I've grown to like them. Let's see if I can... Oh yeah, I can lift that up. There, that's okay. So you're starting to see like the... Actually, might not need a lot more... a little bit. Let me straighten this out. Okay. That just might be enough. I don't like using too many pins on something that is simple. If it's not simple, I use a ton of pins. But this is a pretty simple one. Hold those in. No, just let that be. I keep playing with this, so I definitely need one more pin holding that. There. Yeah, okay. So that's it. That's all I actually need. These guys can go back in the box. And so this isn't like clean enough to eat off of kind of thing. It's, you know, it still smells funny, but it should, we'll see how it goes, dry out, and it'll maintain that shape, because almost all of this front bit here is cartilage. These are nice big bone pieces here, but this is actually mostly smushy cartilage. And so that should dry and shrink and kind of hold the whole thing in shape. And one more pin. It's always another place I want to put a pin. But, yeah, so I'll let that dry. And again, out in my new place outside. So not in my apartment. So it will smell tonight, but hopefully by tomorrow it'll be done with all that. And it'll just like seize up, and that'll be a cool piece. And yeah, that's just for me. Like, I don't think anybody else is going to want a sheep hyoid. But it thrilled me to death when I came across it when I was pulling the tongue apart. So that's just for me. Yeah, and yeah, so I think that's kind of where I'm going. Man. You know, let's just cover this guy with hydrogen peroxide now. And hopefully that will start to eat at the smell. So I have it in this much smaller box. Aw, thank you. I cannot believe how much hydrogen peroxide I have blown through on this project. Because my box is a pretty good size. Clara, you may recognize this shoebox. but it's still a lot of hydrogen peroxide. So let's see if anything fizzes excitingly or if it's kind of tepid. Well, so far not a lot of fizzing. A little bit. There's a little bit. Yeah, so it's still reacting. There's still areas that it's having an effect on. Oh, these are from Ross? Yeah, no, they're a great size. This is a great size little plastic bin to just do a lot of stuff with, so thank you for the contribution. I appreciate it. That continues to merrily fizz. Yeah, I'm gonna need to buy another case of these. Oh well, that's okay. It's got bubbles coming out of its nose. Where's my poking stick? I've discovered that my my antique probe is actually great for just moving this guy around and making sure that it fills with liquid. I should make an Amazon wish list. Yeah, I actually started to do that, and then it just never actually came to fruition. So yeah, my dedicated viewers want to buy me hydrogen peroxide. Alright, I'm filling the brain with liquid. It's bubbling merrily. There we go. Yeah, I still need one more. At least one more of these guys. I am doing just straight hydrogen peroxide. Does it work better? I don't know. I've not tried the other options. So the state that it's in now is after a week of being in 3% hydrogen peroxide. So I was hoping it would speed up the process. I could not tell you truthfully if it did because I don't have any comparison. Alright. 4 usually does it. It's bubbling merrily. I actually want this eye down because it had a lot more tissue left on it. It always ends up on its side because it's bubbling, so it just figures it out. See ya, Chardon Mom! Yeah, because the hydrogen peroxide's already at 3%, so I don't really feel like I need to specifically dilute it more. Heck, if I had 12%, which I've considered getting. Apparently you can get 12% peroxide from, like, hair care product lines. But this is already at 3%, so I don't think diluting it is really that necessary. Unless I'm specifically just trying to save money. In that case, I almost think I should just use water. Okay, well, I'm happy to report that the smell is significantly less already. Hooray. Just covering it in a delightful blanket of fizzy water. Oh, sure, yeah. The actual chemical amounts is one of those things that I think you just have to, like, trial and error it. So right now I'm just doing it at the full 3%. But I think do you. Save money. Yeah, it's fizzing so much it just keeps listing. I want the other eye up. Come on, Ben. So gross. World's worst soup. Alright, well. I'll call that good. There he is, peeking at you guys. That's a fantastic camera view. If anybody wants to take a clip of the sheep skull bubbling ominously looking at the viewer base, that'd be pretty fun. So, okay everybody, well, then, this guy is done for the week. I think next week I might poke at it a little bit, but I want to get started on those birds for the Chicago Academy of Sciences, so I might not work on the sheep on camera next week. I might just do another round with it by myself. So yeah, plan on next week. I'll probably be working on that adorable Sharpshin hawk, and it's going to be the full process. I had to get all the scientific data before I could even start it, and then it's going to be just a little study skin. But it should be a really cute piece. So yeah, I think I'm going to wrap up. But thanks everybody for hanging out and listening to me giggle and freak out about how bad this smells. You're just wiggling around in there. Oh, because this smells like... This is hard to do indoors. Things we learn. There are better ways to do this. Most other people know that. So, alright, then I am going to wrap up. But thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for all your support. I'm glad you guys had fun. I will continue to say you as often as you need. And I'll keep posting updates on this on Discord and Instagram. So I will be next on Tuesday doing just chatting and doing more research, probably into the birds that I'm going to be working on. So I'll do a little pre-research about those guys. So take care, everybody. Be safe. And I will see everybody next time. I do need a new emoji. I'll work on that. Bye, guys.